Buzz, y'all already got some really impressive victories in this non-conference schedule, but Purdue seems like it could be maybe the best of all if you can get it.
Yeah, I would say that that's parts of that are true. I think that they're for sure the best offense we've played. They're ranked 8th in the country in the numbers that matter. 3 starters that played in the national championship game, 7 returning players. Coach has been incredible in his time there. So obviously playing at their place in many respects, we'll probably have to play our best just to have a chance, for sure.
When you look at a guy like CJ, his minutes have been smaller, but it seems like every time I see a video posted on social media or something, he's the guy talking. Is that sort of the reality of what's going on in the locker room?
He's been unbelievable. The reception of our guys to him, his impact on our staff, on our team, whatever it was, he got here Memorial Day. His recruiting was a call and a pizza. But his experience, his spirit, his demeanor, high basketball IQ, has played in nearly every arena that there is in every league. And he's not ashamed, afraid, tentative to speak the truth. And that's so hard to find anymore, particularly if there's not long-standing relationships. Not only is he willing to speak it, but because of who he is, our guys receive it. He's probably spoken more times in the locker room pregame than any player we've had here. Not this year, in total. And he's always very respectful in asking to speak, and you can tell that it's been very well thought out long before that emotional moment that he speaks, and what he says resonates in a way that I haven't seen from a 22-year-old before.
With the pace y'all have this year, are y'all a little better equipped to face a team that likes to play a low possession game?
Yeah, maybe. We went on a run there early, Central Florida, the following week Ohio State, the following week Oregon, and Creighton. Probably statistically their TVR is probably higher than any of them. And then I wouldn't necessarily categorize Wake or Texas Tech or Purdue in that fast way. And so some of our full court transition stuff we have lowered the amount of reps of to increase the amounts of half court reps. Both Wake, Texas Tech, and Purdue, not only do they want to play in the half court offensively, but they also want to play in the half court defensively. Number 3 from Purdue plays in the gray, that's what we call it, not the first 6 seconds of the shot clock, but the next 6 seconds. His usage rate in that time frame is high, even though their team's pace is closer to slow, but number 3 is not. Similar to number 1 from Creighton. Like, if number 1 from Creighton can get a ball off, he's going to get it off. And so 3 has some of those similar tendencies.
How about the way y'all been playing defense the last few games? Do you feel like y'all are playing at a peak level on that end?
It's the highest we've ever been ranked in any metric since we've been here. Today it's 10th in the country. Coach Devin's done an incredible job. Our staff in preparation for the opponents, and then our players' maturity, but also their ability to execute the plan has been really good. And I think the accumulated reps of our defense over time for sure helps. But the changes in ball screen coverage, the changes in what we do in the front court before as the possession begins. Like some of those subtle tweaks, depending upon opponent, I think I don't know that they've necessarily been the reason why we're top 10, but they've aided for sure.
What did it mean to you to see Andy get his degree this week and graduate?
Rock and I were talking about it this morning when we were exercising. Rock's been doing it longer than I have, but between the two of us, don't know a lot of really cool stories on kids, first-generational students that ever go to college, first-generational students that graduate from college. The graduation rate since the portal has begun continues to decrease because so many institutions per career. I don't know that we've ever seen one like Andy. Not from the United States. For him to, how he got to the United States, how he got to college, how he got to this college, how he graduated from this college is otherworldly. And I don't know, maybe early in my career, I don't know that I've seen a more thankful, grateful, excited, proud, crying, emotional student athlete in my career. Like all day yesterday, even as soon as he graduated, he came in there just super emotional. And then to watch FaceTimes post-graduation with family members who can't speak a word of English, and to see the emotion, not knowing what Andy's saying or they're saying, it was very moving, to be honest with you. Thanks for asking.
Was he? Do you know if he was able to have any family from the Dominican come for graduation?
We jumped through 42,000 hoops and came up empty.
Well, we've talked a lot about this non-conference hopefully setting up for success down the line in March, but with conference play around the league right now in the early season, the deepest you've seen the SEC since you've been here?
Yeah, I haven't watched hardly any SEC teams. I did watch Ole Miss because they played Purdue. I kept thinking I would go out on the floor Sunday when Vanderbilt was playing. Coach has done a great job there. I've read some of the things that the staff has printed up for me. Analytically, it's historical what's happening through the first 5 weeks. And if you were to compare it to years past in non-conference of SEC, it's easily been the best ever. But I would say in the history of college basketball through 5 weeks, comparatively speaking to the other Power 4 leagues, it stands alone thus far. So I know there's some big games this weekend in the league. So going into Christmas and into the new year, like, I don't know that any year has ever been close. For sure not in the time that I've been here.
Coach, looking at Purdue specifically, is there anything unique that they do that you guys just haven't seen yet this year?
Yeah, threes usage rate is the second highest in the league. He's the highest rated assist player in the country, highest assist to turnover ratio in the country. But number 4's usage rate is higher than number 3's, and you rarely see that. Combined, their usage rate is 71%, which would be the highest combo of anybody we've played thus far. Not even, maybe the 2 freshmen from Rutgers would be in that realm, but not. Those 2 guys are making decisions, and if 3 doesn't make the decision to end the possession, 4 does. But normally when you're talking like that, I think you're normally probably talking about perimeter players, like the 2 freshmen from Rutgers. This is their point guard and their 5, and they're making the decisions. Their 5-man second in assists because he has the highest usage rate in the Big Ten. So how you handle those 2 with the other 3 on your team that are not guarding those 2, I think is somewhat unique.
When you look at the string against power conference competition, I'm sure there's some physical grind, but do you think there's also a bit of a mental grind?
1,000%. Yeah. I think there's a mental grind, an emotional grind, and a physical grind. And I guess tomorrow will be our 8th Power 4 team that we've played out of the first 11. I think physically you begin to adjust. You probably have a higher propensity for nagging injuries when you're playing the physical nature of the talent. But I think the content required to execute the game plan is a lot when it's 2 games a week, like what you do in conference play. But I also think the emotion of this is really important. What's really important? This rep in practice, this session in the film room, all of those things, I don't know how you quantify it, but I for sure think in each of those components, it's a factor for sure.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Purdue fans there tomorrow, just given the proximity to Indy. You know, how much of playing in Vegas, like against Creighton, or even last Sunday against Tech, where you know both sides felt like it was a.
Were you there on Sunday? Like, what do you think the percentage
We were
in
saying
Dickey's?
at least 80% Tech fans.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't talk publicly. I try not to say too much, but I asked my wife that question. You know, because once I walk out there, I'm not really paying attention and don't need to pay attention. But I would have guesstimated as I was walking out to shake coach's hands when I glanced that it would have been higher than 80%. I would say in Vegas, Oregon, Creighton, and Rutgers, the capacity crowd was for sure more than 80%. I don't know exactly. Maybe Brad would know. Outside of those related to the players and coaches, we probably had 10 people there, 20 people there. I would say that ratio is what it'll be tomorrow. I don't know how many of our players' families will be there tomorrow, but I would anticipate it'll be 98% pro Purdue. So maybe some of the reps that we've had along the way to play in that what everybody says is neutral, but it's not neutral, maybe it'll help us.